There it goes. Ha, cool. All right, well, I'll do the whole thing again because nobody could hear it except for the two ladies. So, all right, starting again from the top with the fancy music. Haven't finished a game? Haven't even played it? Are you angry because something other people did was not exactly what you wanted? You know, you could have done better from your couch or desk, but the fact that they didn't even bother to ask you, well, it's time to make them pay. With the new app, Review Bomb Extreme! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. With Review Bomb Extreme, you can post your uneducated and ill-informed response to anything, and we'll then post it all across the internet just for you. Hate Star Wars, but you've never seen it? Let everyone know how special you are. Angry at a celebrity that said something you disagreed with? Bomb their movies and books to the ground. Did you read another angry review that sounds reasonably unjustified, just like you are, and want to join in? Nuke 'em from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. With the new Review Bomb Extreme! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. The app is coming to a digital store near you. A boom! Review Bomb Extreme! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point has disabled all reviews under 5 stars for its own apps because we know it's amazing and you don't understand that. The app is automatically set up to review bomb you and everything you've done in your life if you disagree, as per the terms of service.
Welcome to the Crashed While Loading podcast.
Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Video games,
Well, excuse me, princess.
movies and TV,
Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident, too.
half-assed reviews,
Just as I suspected. Hollow!
and everything else.
Geez, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
Off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Hello, people of Earth, now that you can actually hear me. For those of you on the podcast, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's exactly how it's going to stay. So, thank you, everybody, for joining us here at Crashed While Loading. This is our 7th episode. Visit us at twitch.tv/CrashedWhileLoading if you want to watch us live. We're trying to do it every other week at 4 Central Time. I, of course, am your host, and with me today is Jazz.
Hey.
And Yunfei. I mean,
Hello.
that's a pretty short introduction. That's all we got. Everybody else is like, you know what? Fuck this guy. We're tired of being here with him. He is awful. And one of them's my wife. It happens about this time. This is about the 9-year mark is where things fell apart the first time, and I'm pretty sure I'm just expecting that again.
Aw.
But to be fair, the last time I was actually really glad for it. So there's that. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Real quick, if you haven't already, we remember we're a podcast. And as all podcasts, you have to go give us a 5-star review, no matter what you think of the show. So do that at iTunes. Even, people that are on the show, I've noticed there's not 6 different reviews up there for it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it's iTunes, just iTunes.com. Download the little appy thing. And you sign in on it. And then you go to your own stupid show and you give it a review.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, be better than the people on the show. That's what I'm saying. How's everybody doing? Everyone have a good 2 weeks since we last talked? Well, I mean, we didn't last talk. We've talked in between then, but as far as the audience knows, we don't talk in between episodes, which is probably closer to the truth than they actually do know.
It's just been a crazy 2 weeks.
Why?
Life is crazy.
Was it the Ninja Pandas?
No,
That
it's
was
not
the
the
newest.
Ninja Pandas. No.
Was it the case of the bubonic plague out of China now?
Yeah, that was a chuckle moment.
Yeah, I wish I was making that one up. No, that's real.
Yeah, I was like, I have a friend of mine. It's like you're playing what do they call it? Apocalypse Bingo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like from
Oh,
Cabin in
yeah.
the Woods.
Yep.
Yeah. And so she was like, if you had bubonic plague,
Mhm.
go ahead and check that one off.
Yeah. I swear to God that meme from you've never seen Cabin in the Woods, have you, Jez?
No, I have
It's
not.
a horror movie.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, she couldn't watch it. But basically what it is, spoiler alert for a movie that's like, I don't know, umpteen years old. But these kids do the basic cabin, and it's, the horror cabin like you expect from like Jason, Freddy, all those things. Underneath that is a giant research lab, basically, that has all the horrible things in the world. And they put these kids through those scenarios, like, depending on what they pick up in the cabin. And so there's a whole bunch of people betting, like, who had murder hornets? Who had flesh-eating zombies? One kid who was like stabbed through by an angry unicorn. Who had unicorns?
Yep.
That kind of thing. It's actually a brilliant movie.
It's a good movie. It is.
Was that
It is.
Joss Whedon or no?
It was Joss
It
Whedon.
was Joss Whedon. That's why. Yeah.
Yep.
Which puts me on another thing. I think I'll have to do that on a future episode of all these people coming out and saying how horrible directors are to them. You work in an industry where they're trying to get you to be emotional. Yeah, they're going to be dicks. So it's a lot of egos.
I could be wrong, but I think everybody that's worked for Joss Whedon wants to work with him again.
Most people do, but there was some, I've seen some that's like, he was so mean to us on set. Well, bring out the
Yeah,
fucking
but
donuts, craft services.
was-
Come on.
Was he Alfred Hitchcock mean?
See, and now he got a performance though, didn't he? Yeah, sure. He may have had somebody call and tell you your dog was hit by a car right before you
would
have to do an
torture.
emotional scene.
Yeah, he would
Or-
torture his actors.
Oh, what was the one Stanley Kubrick did to what's
Yeah,
her
him
face
too.
right before the "Here's Johnny" scene? I forgot what he told her. He said, he brought her to tears, literal, actual tears, and there's like, and action, There's some nasty people out there, but they're also kind of doing a job. So, but that and crunch, it's something I keep hearing on gaming a lot, and everyone seems to be against it. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of jobs that have crunch time, and nobody seems to give a crap about those jobs. It's just in the industry that they're interested in. Nobody cares about the lawyer that works 80 hours a week to do a case, or
Artists have wicked crunch.
yeah, artists, firemen, if there's, or police officers, if there's horrible stuff going on, they have crunch time. Nobody cares about that. Any job that has retail during Christmas,
Oh, dear God.
right?
We say more. Yeah, that's all.
Nobody gives a shit about them, but video games, they have to do 3 months of crunch time before the release. Yeah, it's called a job. You don't have to stay. You can go. This isn't China. You're not legally bound to the company, and they put fencing around the roof to keep you from jumping off of it. You can get away for now. So, that was fun. Anybody watching anything new? Play anything?
I saw Knives Out.
What'd you think
as
of
a
that?
movie.
I hate
I loved
Ryan
it.
Johnson, but the movie was good.
I loved the movie. I watched it with Kishmas, on Prime Share with a Friend.
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's cool. How'd that work?
It is. It's kind of cool. It was fun. I'd never done it before, and he was like, "Let's watch a movie." So I was like, "This is how it's done." And he logged in, and we watched it together and typed back and forth. And he was hilarious.
Right.
His comments, which kept me laughing through the whole thing. And I never saw the end coming. I had sussed out about halfway through it was going to be the one person, but then I wasn't sure.
And
then at the end, I was like, I called it.
I figured it out about halfway through.
Yeah. But then I wasn't sure, and I was like, wait a minute. So, it was a really well done movie.
We don't want to spoil it or anything.
Right. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
But I got to say, too, James Bond, he's fucking, that guy is amazing. What's his, Daniel Craig.
I don't know what his actual name is, but yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Craig. I also, because he was, He's doing like a Southern Texas accent. He's British. Fucking British. And then there was another movie. What was it? Sib watched it. It was Seven something or other, and he's in that, but he's in prison, and while his character's not gay, he has all the attributes and aspects and like talking ways of that. Like, and he's got the short shorts, and he's got like the shirt that's always halfway up and like tied in the middle. He's very effeminate, and he made it work. I mean, he looks like he does, and he's just like, y'all don't even know what you got up in here. You know, he is absolutely amazing. And I hate to say it, I really wasn't sure on him on Bond, but I think he's one of my favorite Bonds, if not the favorite at this point.
I have not seen him as Bond, but I can see he would be very cool. I really enjoyed him in Knives Out a great deal.
If you haven't watched the Bond movies, I would say, because they're also, unlike a lot of the other ones, they're very interconnected. Like, you know, they're like each one is actually like almost a sequel to the previous one in his version of them. And they're very well done. They're very good. I'd highly recommend watching them, which is why I'm so disappointed we still have to wait till November to see the newest one, which would have already been out by now.
Yeah.
Thank you, COVID.
Oh, yeah, and Kishmas got censored. It was really funny.
Did he really? Oh, what a shock. Kishmas got
They
censored.
censor you there so you can't swear or anything in the chatting. So it was pretty funny. But all in all, I have to say I wouldn't mind doing that like as a group at this point with
I was
like
just thinking that same thing.
Bunch of us. That it might be a lot of fun to watch a movie and comment, just us friends.
I would almost recommend Cabin in the Woods.
No horror.
But see, it's you know what? You know what would be good for you? Because it is slightly horror, but it's not meant to be. It uses the genre Tucker and Dale versus Evil, because it's actually comedy that bounces off of. It uses
That might be fun.
Yeah,
I like what's it called?
Alan Tudyk is in it.
No, I'm thinking of the serial killer guy, Dexter. I really enjoyed Dexter, and I usually don't enjoy stuff like that.
Right, and this one takes all the, like, they're the redneck guys. They're doing, but they're like, it's our second cabin. It's our cabin home in the woods, and there's college kids, and college kids think they're the creepy, like, you got real pretty ears, but they're just really bad at talking to girls, that kind of a thing. You know, and it just goes on from there. That would be a fun one. We might have to.
But yeah, I think that'll have to be something that we do. Yeah. 'Cause I didn't know it was a thing until I wanted to watch a movie and I saw it and I was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" He's like, "Actually, that sounds fun." So we were both kind of meh on being in games, so we did that. It was a lot of fun. You weren't awake. It was late.
Oh, okay, that's probably true.
So, but it was very interesting, and I definitely want to do that again. That was a lot of fun. So I did that.
Good. How about you?
Top tier, apparently. Okay, well, we'll think about that. Also, one person controls the play, so whoever invites everybody controls the pause and everything else. So
well, clearly that would have to be me. I'm not a control freak, though. It just has to be me.
Yeah, got it. Anyway, let's see what else. I did start watching a new. I couldn't find the thing on the end. The
the booth at the end?
The booth at the end. I couldn't find it on Netflix or Hulu.
It's on Amazon Prime now. It used to be on Hulu a long time ago.
Okay, because I was like, I can't find it anywhere, so I didn't think about Amazon Prime. I'll look there because I was so proud of myself because I finished and I was like, I'm gonna go do this because I want to be able to tell them. And yeah, it wasn't even there. I was really disappointed.
At least now you'll have you've got an extension basically. You have another 2 weeks. Hopefully he'll be back in 2 weeks.
Now, I did find a new show to watch that I've been binge watching. So,
what's that?
It's called Bailey and Scott. Scott and Bailey, one or the other. It's a British show.
Okay. I've never heard.
It's a cop show, and it's really good. I've really been enjoying it a lot. I really find the way that the law works in the UK actually seems to me to work better than our own. In my opinion.
But you gotta watch. It's kind of like watching a cop show in America too.
Well, that's true. But I mean, I know a lot about the law, and I went and read up on the way that they do things there, and I was really I was like, I think that actually might work better. But it was interesting.
I just
it's
like
always
that you
interesting.
Can't make the cops laugh.
What?
I'm mixing up the cops and the Royal Guard. Thanks for ruining the
Oh.
joke.
Okay.
Man.
Sorry. I do that a lot, according to my sons.
Everybody you've ever met.
My son came in and asked me some question, and he was like, "Okay, so do this." He asked me this question. I was like, "Okay," and I was like, "So, Mom, you need to ask this. Why? You're ruining the joke, Mom."
You sound like Orson Welles doing the thing on Peas. Why is it in June? Nobody says it's in June. You're already there. What are you, simple? Calm down, Orson. It's just Peas.
So that was another thing that I've started. I did this week, and there was something else. I should write this shit down, right? I keep forgetting to do that. Well, in game, we have your thing that we're working on, your storyline, which has been fun.
Yes.
And I have been working on background information for Ciel, and I was working on a text-based game that I thought I might be interested in creating, but it ran kind of into a block, and I need to do some more work. So that's on the back burner for right now.
Yeah, there's a lot to those old, even those old text-based games. There's a lot more.
Well, I mean, I've got it set up, but I don't have people interested, so it's just gonna have to wait. But it was interesting. Yeah. I've got it kind of down pat, and I figured out how I want to roll for stuff. So I mean, it's on its way. It's just I'm still working out the bugs in my own head, so I kicked everybody out. I'm gonna work on it some more, and then I'll re-invite everybody. So, I'm a perfectionist.
Losers.
And I think, that's Fred. I was really pissed off about the one thing we're going to talk about. That
which one? Oh yeah, the
New World thing.
Yeah, we'll hit that at the end because we're also going to go over one of their dev diaries, because I don't think you've ever heard of game mechanics the way they described it. It's impossible. Nobody's ever. I mean, they're revolutionary, frankly. But we'll get that to here in a minute.
Okay.
But
in game, I think things have been pretty quiet because it's summer and it's always slow this time of year. And it's been more so this year for whatever reason.
Well, I think a lot of I know Final Fantasy XIV's their latest patch 5.3 has been delayed, and then it got delayed again, and they're saying it's come from COVID. I think it's just because they've just been doing the same thing for 4 years straight now. And as much as I love the Shadowbringers storyline, as soon as you are done with that, there's nothing else. There's nothing to do other than the actual, just the grind for the gear grind.
Yeah. And I think in ESO, it's the expansion wasn't as good as people thought it was going to be, or didn't last as long. I thought it was decent for what it was, but I'm done. And I maxed out the scrying and excavation. So
yeah, I still need to work on that. I thought that would kind of be fun, but after a while it's kind of turned into a slog.
It really, except the last couple levels were just like, oh my god. But I did get a lot of nice stuff. So
yeah, see, and I'm only at 6 and 7, I think.
And I need to go and do it every day a little bit, and then make a little money on the side, which you can make a lot of money with it, I gotta say. But getting it to that point and but it's boring. Once you figure out how to do it, it's not.
I've started doing it
anymore.
watching YouTube videos on my second monitor.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's never a good sign. And I think that's part of the problem in ESO, why everything's been so slow. There's just nothing pulling people in.
Yeah.
People are done
expansion.
And they're going. And I thought COVID would bring in more people than it did. And I don't know what they're doing, but they're not playing games.
Well, that is one thing I will say. There have been, I started yesterday Ghost of Tsushima, which is an open world. It's set in feudal Japan, kind of a thing, and it's like Japanese Witcher 3, basically. I mean, it's very good. It's very beautiful. I will say though, going from The Last of Us Part 2, which everything in that game is like, when it comes to animations and voice acting and all and things syncing up properly, is damn near perfection. Outside of a few, like the random glitch of somebody getting stuck in a wall or something here and there when you blow them up. This one, when you click on somebody to get a quest, and it just kind of pans the camera out and then it like just shifts direction, but there's no motion to the people as they're talking. It was extremely jarring, and it's not the game's fault. That's just the game that I played before its fault.
Yeah.
I was like, there is no motion whatsoever to any of this stuff. I mean, some of the cutscenes there are, but it's like the difference of, like in ESO when you pick up a quest, they just stand there in front of you and talk. It's like that, but if you had a camera that panned out a little bit and then shifted every now and then, which actually would probably help ESO because that way of just staring at a person talking is really dumb when you have games like Final Fantasy XIV that actually do full motion stuff. But that's a different thing. But no, I'm looking forward to really getting in I've only had like 2 hours into that, but it's a beautiful game. I will say that they've really pushed, just like Last of Us 2. They really pushed that hardware of the PS4. I mean, it's at its peak, and I don't have a Pro or anything, so it still looks amazing.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that part of the lull is just there's a lot to do in single player games. There's a lot of stuff out there that's drawing people away. A lot of good can't be the weather because chimney, it's humid.
Oh, hot as balls.
Just like I am hiding inside, and I like the heat, and I'm just like the humidity. I walked out at 7:45, 7:50 this morning to let the dogs out, and it was already felt like 90 degrees outside and humid, just like swam to the dog yard. I was like, holy cow. Yeah. I ran inside. I really need to live somewhere where there's no humidity. This is ridiculous. Yeah. But there's been a lot of...
I hear Antarctica is nice this time of year.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And then it's cold. See, I can't win. I think a lot of my malaise is also coming from just so much drama and crap over the last 2 months. And now there's not a lot of role play around. And it's just really frustrating.
Yeah, so. Jazz is for those from RPM Radio. She's the big role player.
I do a lot of it.
Yeah, and I've actually kind of gotten pretty deep into it too. I've started my own story and the stuff, and hopefully I don't want to give anything away because one of the things that I like to do is actually have it be a surprise when things happen. I mean, a little bit at least story wise. So I'm keeping it close-ish to the vest. I will say I did watch two things that came to Netflix too. Warrior Nun and Oldgar, which ironically I guess both are based off of
How was Warrior Nun? Because I saw the previews for that and it looked interesting.
I mean, it was a little on the cheesy side at times, but I burned through it in a weekend. It was good enough to make me go through all 10 episodes. The funny part was the main character is like, I actually had to look her up because at times she sounded just like Ellie from The Last of Us. I was like, that's not the same actress, is it? Because she doesn't look like I thought she did. No, it's not. But the main character in that gets the halo in her back, she's very spunky. I liked her a lot. She, and they did the thing with, it's Catholicism and all that. I thought they actually did it pretty good, where it wasn't like overly insulting, but it also wasn't overly like, can do no wrong kind of a stuff. But it was an interesting take on, I guess the mythology of Catholicism and Christianity and all that. I thought it was
neat.
Also, you watch a bunch of chicks kicking ass, which is never a bad thing. Oh wait, no, that's right. I'm conservative. I hate all women in strong roles. Shoot. Which is why I also must have hated the Old Guard and The Last of Us too. I hate that. I forgot. I'm stuck to my political affiliations only. I'm not allowed to get out of that box. But the Old Guard was actually really good too. It was just an hour and a half movie with I always say her name wrong. Charlize Theron.
Charlize.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Charlize, is it?
Charlize.
Theron.
Jesus, lady, your parents hated you.
Yeah, I know, right?
But that was actually really good. You watch the trailer. The whole premise is there's a squad of 4 people or so, and they're immortal. They can't die, so they've been fighting throughout history, and they're really good at it. But that's the sort of background of it. And it was surprisingly good. Apparently, it was like their highest watched movie ever. I think it may have even beat out The Witcher on number of like how quickly something got watched. So it was good. I'd highly recommend it. I don't want to spoil more than what they showed in the trailer, but it had some good twists and turns in it. I mean, it was. I will say, okay, not a spoiler, but the biggest surprise of it is the main bad guy is played by the same kid that played Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter movies.
Wow.
The little fat one,
That's awesome.
that was like, he's actually a really good villain. I hated the little fucker. He was evil, and he played it really well. And he's slimmed up quite a bit. Still not a handsome bloke, but he's classically handsome, as we would say in the industry. But he was actually really good in that. And of course, Charlize was as amazing as she always
You
is.
still can't say that, Charlize.
Yeah, Clarissa, when she explained it all, was fantastic from start to finish. But no, I mean, I even liked her in that horrible Aeon Flux movie. So she does really good action stuff, and of course, Furiosa.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, Furiosa, and she was awesome in that. But
that's one of my favorite movies, by the way.
Yeah, well, as long as it took them to make it, it better have come out amazing. Wait, the Mad Max one or the Aeon Flux
Mad
one?
Max,
Okay,
Fury Road.
Because I know
That's one
Aeon
of my
Flux is
favorite movies.
bad, but I still enjoy it. The same way I do a lot of Mila Jovovich movies. I know they're bad, but I still enjoy them. Yes, and that axe that she wields, that one that Erica's just put up in our Discord chat, which you could join at twitch.tv/crashedwhile-loading. Click on the button and join our Discord chat. Her axe sword thing, the way she used that, the fight choreography in that movie was fucking fantastic. It was, I don't know if they had the same team they used in Daredevil or something like that, but it was on that level of smooth and just absolutely great. And I'm a sucker for that. And speaking of Ericus, something he brought to my attention, which, thanks, my Canadian brother from another mother, Valorant, which we talked about. It's a free-to-play game, kind of the CS Counter-Strike Go shooter. They came out with a new skin for their weapons that looks awesome. It's actually like every weapon looks like a little dragon, but it's when you shoot, it's like a living dragon. When you reload, it like curls back on itself and like little flames, and it's very smooth. I think there's 4 or 5 different weapons that will skin over. Also, $95.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not paying that much for that. No.
For a weapon skin.
I mean, does it cook you breakfast in the morning? Because
I actually think it will do oral.
I
it
would
is a
say
dragon.
it better for $95. It better do what's that Magic Mike dance for me? I want to see that.
It better have The Rock and something like that, and there
Hey,
better be
yeah, there we go.
butt cheeks or something.
Magic Mike meets The Rock. There you go.
I'm
Right there.
not
Get on
gay, but
stage.
he's a good-looking guy. That or Chris Pratt. I also think Chris Pratt's a good-looking guy. But I also like him because he's so fucking funny. But, $95. Also not on here, but also related to something we play in Elder Scrolls Online. The, what was that, about $35 fountain combination of a blood fountain and a...
Oh, I saw that. They're high.
And a ghoul guy that you can put in your house. It's 2 furnishing items. One of them is a big fountain filled with blood and like bats flying around it, and it looks neat. I guess
not $35 neat.
No. Honestly, I don't know. I saw some people like if it was 2,500 crowns, which is like $20. I still think you're high. I
think that'd be closer with 2 items. That I could almost justify 25, but that's the highest I would go. And but they're the same way with all their stuff. It's like if they just lowered the price, they'd sell a lot more stuff. I don't understand why they don't grasp that concept. It's just so annoying.
Clearly they're not alone. Valorant, $95 for a couple weapon skins. It's just I don't.
Your guys are going above the pay grade of most of the people that play your games.
Especially now.
Yeah, with everybody out of work, and even with the CARES thing, which yay ends next week. I'm so screwed. And
oh, I looked up. I just looked up real quick. Valorant Dragon skins, like one of the. Let's see. Once you get past the YouTube videos, which fuck Google for always having YouTube videos come up when I'm looking for something.
I hate that.
Right. The first headline from Forbes: I regret spending $95 on the Valorant Elder Flame Dragon skins. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for a crown sale so that I can justify spending $100 on crowns.
And at least you'll get it,
But
more.
I'll get a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm like throwing
And-
$25
okay.
into savings every few weeks to try to
even if
work
you
up
get
to
that, would you still look at that fountain and that one ghoul?
No, I
Yes,
would not
okay,
buy
that's-
that. I would not.
There you
I
go.
don't buy the. I had to sit and argue with myself about buying the assistants, at $5K a piece, and I actually didn't. I waited till they were on sale and then I bought them.
I only did that like 2 months ago, and it was because it was more because I realized how convenient it would be out in the world more than anything. And it is. It's super convenient.
It is. It's super convenient, but it's not 5,000 crowns convenient.
No.
And there's no way I was. And like the outfit things, your slots.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
The
so
outfit.
much, and they're not cross account. It's just
Mhm.
one character, and so I never buy those unless they're on sale because,
Yeah.
geez, and I don't understand. And if they just half that price, I would be more willing to spend money on that.
You'll fall into the same trap you did what you spoke of with your mobile game that one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Where before you knew it, you're like, I've just spent $300. Crap.
Right.
But
Exactly. But they're not using something that's tried and true. They're doing this whole greed thing. And these little bottle cap games could teach them a lot about how to make money on side sales.
Mhm.
Because good lord, they've got it down pat. I just spent $19.99 on that damn game getting with some more stuff. And I'm just like, no more, slap, 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 no more. And I told myself, no more for the next 2 months. You are not buying any more for 2 months. Ration
it's-
these things.
it's easy to justify when it's low, but when they come out and like, hey, here's 4,000 crowns, it's like, no. That makes it way easy.
It's like the crates are 5,000 crowns. And even if I spend $100 now, that's 14,000 crowns.
Mm-hmm.
So if I spend 5, then I only have 9 left. And that's like,
Yeah.
no, not doing that. So
Yeah.
they
And
just
I know
kind of
we've-
screw themselves. I don't know why they don't see that.
The irony is we've gone against this monetization, but we're just as guilty as a lot of people. I mean, we're...
Oh yeah, no, I will.
But there are-
I have a
but there's
job
limits.
and I work my ass off, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
is what I do for fun. But I still will refuse to spend the kind of money that they're charging
Well,
for a lot of stuff.
And for the ESO thing, too, like, the fountain, you can also buy in-game for in-game money.
Yes.
So, I mean, given it's like 300-something thousand, but it doesn't cost you anything but time on that. The little... he doesn't actually do anything but just stand there and look dead as this standing
And
servant
I don't
guy.
get that. It's ugly. It's gross.
Yeah, he's just a...
And you get to feed on it as a vampire. Okay. So that's a little unsanitary. I don't.
Feeding from the
No.
dead.
Yeah. So yeah,
right.
I have enough of that.
So, all right, well, we'll move on from monetization for now, and go on to something else that'll totally be monetized. Ready Player 2 is coming out November 24th, the book.
I heard that.
Did not know that was even in the works, but I'm glad to hear it, and
I don't even know what that is.
Ready Player 1 was that it's a movie where everyone's in a virtual world of... Actually, I think you would actually like the book, Jazz, because it's basically... We hit the point of... I forget what they call it. but the virtual space that you get through with, like VR goggles and things like that, it basically encompasses everything in life. It's where you make transactions. Kids go to school virtually. They have to be, there's a planet that they learn on, that's where their classes are, and they have the same class. They have teachers that are all virtual, but it's also a lot more realistic than we currently have at the moment. But the whole world is like that, and then it goes after, there's a big company that's trying to get something, and it goes on from there. Spielberg made a movie on it, which was good, but was also not the book, because frankly, watching two people play an old game of Joust on a cabinet is probably not all that exciting. So they turned it into a race car.
Also, Strafe is still on the road and says hi.
Hey, Strafe. Tell him to hurry up. Anyway, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious where they're going to go with it, with the series, given where I think at the end of it. Spoiler alert! If you haven't watched the movie or read the books, and they've been out for a decade, they end up kind of owning the Oasis, the main kid and all his friends. So I don't know what exactly they'll do when they have all of it. Maybe there'll be another existential threat to the Oasis, but I don't know. But that's what they call the virtual world there. It's Oasis. But no, I'm excited for it. I don't know where it's going to go. I will say that if it doesn't do exactly what I want, I'm going to totally bash on it and hate everything about it.
As you should. As you should.
That's my right as a piece of shit on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of pieces of shit on the internet, Metacritic has started delaying user reviews until 36 hours after a game is released. And because when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, as soon as it went live, which remember, this is a 20 to 30 or if you really, really go at it, longer hour game, like the moment it went live to the general public, it was getting bad reviews. Just because it had that horrible spoiler leak, the story leak that told a lot of the main components of the story ahead of time.
People were really mad that Abby was ripped for some reason.
Yeah, they were, and I don't get that.
Who cares?
Yeah, she was. I mean, yeah, she had big beefy arms, but I didn't really understand. I mean, she was not attractive to me, but I don't think the point of her being attractive in Apocalypse was the point. So
yeah, it's kind of about survival,
right.
And I didn't even play the game, and I was like, y'all need hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like real hobbies.
Likes to lift weights. Leave her alone.
And yeah, she did. Well,
girls can lift weights and actually can get just as buff as boys do. So chill out.
They even show a weight training room full of people that she's with lifting weights. So yeah, I don't know. There was plenty of things I could see where people would not like, but that, and also what we covered in the last episode of giving the voice actress death threats and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, people are just monumentally.
I will say
it
is fascinating that I think she's got to be the Abby character. She's the first one because they had the voice actress, they had an actress for the face, and then they had a body double. They had 3 different people that it took to get that one person into reality. So, no, I don't know. I thought that was cool. Yeah. But yeah, apparently people were review bombing it for the story reasons, whatever they want. I know, actually, I think early on, one of the main things is everyone was like, they saw pictures of Abby and they're like, she's transgender, which, by the way, 25 years into an apocalypse, I don't think there's anybody doing surgeries or anything like that anymore. I mean, she might identify a certain way, or she might be, well,
sure, but they're not going to have the facilities
right.
to.
Not if Joel keeps shooting them, there's not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which we'll probably get into a little bit of a review of what I thought of The Last of Us, and now that Yunfei's she hasn't played it, but she watched it.
Yeah.
And we might have that discussion to go on a little at the end of it, because I
10
don't want
hours,
to spoil it for everybody. But
minus the fight, with taking all the fighting out of it, the cutscenes and the party barks and stuff, it's 10 hours.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but even that's not there's so much that happens in between cutscenes and stuff, like the discussions that happen as you're walking around with the characters.
He shows that too.
Okay, good. good.
Yeah, it's just the when he gets into a fight, he'll shoot the first enemy, and then it'll cut to the final enemy dying.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, and I do spend a lot of time in that game hunting resources after that. But no, because of that, and then things like, I think probably just Ghost of Tsushima just came out as well. And although I don't think people are review bombing it, people are putting reviews in for games that there's no way you can instantly do. And I see a lot of people like, well, you're stopping people's opinions. It's not you don't have an opinion if you haven't played I mean, you can have an opinion. It's just a bad opinion. And giving 36 hours, and if the trolls are still going to go on there 36 hours later, they're going to do what they're going to do. But also, some of them will probably see something shiny and forget where they're at, and then go masturbate. That'll be they won't go after anything else after that.
Poor wee things.
Yeah, but it's it's sad that they actually have to do that, but I'm actually not against it. I think these people put, I've been listening to the podcast for The Last of Us, and I mean, just the amount of hours and time that they've put into it, the blood, sweat, and tears, and all the hours of hard work, and just to have that leak, something like a leak, come out, and then everyone's like, well, that's not what I wanted. Bah, it's the worst game in history, blah, blah, blah. And I this is coming from a guy that thinks Rian Johnson's, The Last Jedi was probably the biggest mistake in Star Wars ever. And that includes all the prequels and everything that includes the holiday special back in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he messed up the lore of Star Wars so badly that, like I said, there's even rumors they may retcon the new trilogy.
Yeah, I did actually read that.
Right, from legitimate sources. So, I mean, does it have its plus? And I could still give you things I liked about the movie. I just think overall it was a huge mistake. And I will say it's not even all his fault. A lot of that is on Lucasfilm and Disney for not having a cohesive story in mind before they put them on, and just like letting them ad-lib a Star Wars sequel in trilogy from one guy to the next. It's like, all right, so we're going to have Luke Skywalker, and she's going to hand him the lightsaber. Okay. He's going to throw it away in the very first scene in the next movie. Well, that's not cool. And then the other guy has to fix that. And it's not a good way to write stories.
Yeah.
We don't even do that shit in role play in online games, and yet they did that with a $6 billion purchase. So, yeah, there's that. But no, Metacritic doing that, I think that's actually a good idea. The other one I wanted to hit real quick before we get to the New World is Dr. Disrespect, the Lion King of gaming. He did his first interview since our last episode, and according to him, he still has absolutely no idea why he was banned. They still have not reached out to him.
They still haven't told him? That's fucked up.
They haven't made a public announcement as of yet.
Something's going on, though, because
something serious.
He had I don't know if it was his lawyer or something with him.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, he had
periodically a question would come up, or his legal counsel.
That's it, yeah.
A question would come up, and the counsel would step in and just be like, he would either, divert the question or say, we can't answer that at this time.
Yeah, well, I think
something's going on.
I think that's because they're going to put a lawsuit against Twitch for it.
Could be.
I mean, yeah, because that's the other rumor, and then of course having that on there is that he's going to be suing Twitch. And the fact that they've not done anything publicly, and they've not apparently told him, or if they have, he's not able to say yet, which doesn't seem like that'd be a thing. It kind of gives a whole credence to the whole fired him to save $25 million thing that we were talked about last episode. It seems more and more like they're just being scumbags about it. I know he's not ever going to return to Twitch, according to him. Which can you blame him? I mean, he gets banned out of nowhere.
Can't blame that, no.
Yeah. And he's not going to do exclusive deals, but he will be back. And, for his fans and audience, that's fantastic. I just find him fascinating in like I said, the Tiger King perspective of gaming. It's in the whole thing of what Twitch did to him. It's the same way I find things that happen in EVE Online interesting. I would never play it, and I don't care about the game itself, but the stuff that happens inside it is fascinating to me. So so Dr. Disrespect, he will come back, but I don't know. I'm really curious to see if they're going to file a lawsuit on Twitch or it's going to come out eventually. I don't know if they realize this, but it's not going to be able to be hidden forever. Eventually someone will leak it or someone will file a lawsuit.
Yeah, they aren't really good at preventing the leaking things, so...
Yeah, no, not at all. Well, yeah, and then they've got a lot of issues on their own right now, so... And I like Twitch, don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously we do it. It is, as we did our last episode, it is the best out there. I mean, other than Mixer at 1% of the thing. But, man, they are making some pretty dumb mistakes at the moment.
This is what happens when a company gets super big.
63% of all streaming, video game streaming and stuff like that is through Twitch. You know, they've got the monopoly on it for the most part. And I think it's kind of but they hire, what was that, the one that had she thinks she's a deer, the safety squad or whatever it was that they hired.
Yeah.
Which has a lot of I looked at it. It has a lot of actual professionals, and then it's like, and a couple of the streamers, and some of the professional people, they're like free speech advocates and things like that, which is great. But then you got one that's like, people should be afraid of me now, and I identify as a deer, which if you identify as a... she's transgender, male that's now a female. So actually, if you think about it, if you identify as a deer but you're transgender, wouldn't you actually be a doe?
Yes.
Right.
She's obviously an idiot.
Right.
Because
exactly.
You don't. If you're a female, you would say a doe.
Yeah.
Or a buck, not. Yeah.
I mean, they made a song about it.
Effing idiot.
Doe, a deer, a female, yep. Deer.
Yeah.
So, lastly, and part of this is not necessarily for any reason other than I want to go over their dive diary, and also because it hurts Jazz. New World, the MMO from Amazon, delayed to the surprise of no one.
Surprised me!
Really? Were you honestly surprised that they ended up delaying this again?
They said it was coming out in August. That's why I went and bought the stupid thing.
Oh.
It was on track, and looked it up. I went and read about it. Nowhere did it say, and they might... Yeah.
Oh, Puddin'.
I'm so tired of...
Cupcake, sweetheart. You're adorable. No, I mean, honestly, it did not. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Remember, it was supposed to be a PvP MMO, and they switched off of that, and I don't think...
Which is why I signed up for it.
Right, but to make that 90-degree turn like that, that takes so much more. And I will say, I watched their dev diary, and the game does look...
It looks really cool.
It looks
I like
interesting.
the idea.
However, also in the dev diary, which we're going to play at least the audio because, it's a podcast. Playing the visual on a podcast would be a technology I would not be doing this podcast for anymore. So, the girls here haven't heard this, but I was watching this thing. It's about 5 minutes total, and I'm going to pause it and start it up again. Especially as they go through their five core features of this MMO. Let's see if it does it here. Oh,
Peggy 16.
Why is that Peggy 16 too? All right, so I got some music. It's showing video of the game. Blah blah blah.
Nice music, guys. Yeah.
It's so generic. It really is. But it's a dev diary. I mean,
New World has 5 progression systems that all work together.
Every action that you take in New World has a reward to it.
The most basic form of player progression is leveling your character. Every time you level up, you get...
Okay, so first one, most basic form of character progression is you level up.
No shit.
Are they trying to, talk to people that have never MMO'd ever?
Played a game ever? Yeah.
It's just
apparently.
we know this part. Get to the good stuff.
Okay, so this is the first. Now, this is the first. Remember, there's 5 of them, Jazz. It's Yunfei. There's 5. All right, let's see if I can.
Points to put into your attributes.
Second one is weapon mastery. The more I use my weapon, the better I get with that weapon. I can assign points to give me weapon abilities. The third one is our trade skill progression.
Whether I'm a gatherer or I'm a blacksmith, the more I do that thing, the better at it I get.
Really?
Okay, so if you use your weapon, you get better at it.
That's just
any comments? I mean, as you can tell, they are stunned by the ingeniousness into silence.
I think I'm just annoyed and disgusted, and I swear to God, if they cancel another one of these games, I'm gonna just...
Yeah, but Jazz, did you know this? That if you do the crafting, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
No.
I'm just saying.
I
mean,
mean,
it's just,
surprised.
Don't hate on them just because you are behind the time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we've gone through 3.
The fourth one is territory standing.
Just by playing in a territory, you'll gain territory standing, which gives you access to bonuses like increased experience, reduced speeds, and houses.
Then the fifth one is...
Okay, now that one at least is something kind of new. Like it'd be like getting it's basically like faction standing in a zone of a current MMO.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I watched this myself, because I already did. I've been watching these things, and when I watched it, I was like, so every game ever, you clear a zone, you get rewards.
Yeah. You can buy. It's kind of like and it depending on what they do, it could be neat. I mean, at least it's something. Yeah. And it's something not every MMO does. So far, the first 3 have been something every MMO does. So they finally gotten at least to something that only half of
I feel like
do.
They're trying to sell to people that play like console games and single players. That's it. That's what they're trying to appeal to.
Or mobile games. I don't know.
Or mobile games, because anybody that plays an MMO is like,
yeah,
and
that's called leveling. Okay, crafting. Yeah, I mean, we've all crafted before. But Jazz, what about the 5th pillar? Factions.
You join a faction at some point in the game if you want to experience the PvP side. As you do faction missions, you gain faction reputation.
That enables me to get better gear and goods from the faction, which is very cool gear.
So there's a lot of different
like
ways
you
get to experience the world of Eternum.
Yeah.
Or like, and this is just it's even PvE. So
it's like really, guys, that's not.
It's just raising your faction, which we've had since EverQuest 1 back in 1999.
Faction's not new. Yeah, we've all done it.
But Jazz, you can get really cool things from it.
Yeah. See, I'm not a fan of getting special gear for PvP any damn way. So
well, and this doesn't sound like I think this didn't sound like PvP. This is just join a faction and level up within it.
Well, they're talking about PvP specifically for the factions. That's part of their PvP system, is that much like in ESO, when you're part of, the Dominion.
See, and they didn't even say that in this video. Like they ignored that. They didn't even say like, and in PvP, the factions are, they just like, and factions.
Well, they said when you are doing the PvP game.
Oh, okay.
And then they launched into this whole thing. But yeah, I mean.
All right. Well, let's see if there's any other.
And these are just the first ones that you'll get to taste.
Sound effects, crunching.
We really wanted to have a deep crafting system in New World. Everything in the game supports it in one way or another.
I love this.
As you craft in New World, you become stronger and stronger in crafting.
And when it comes time to craft a sword,
you level up.
You're going to start out just being happy to get something slightly better than the basic sword.
Wow.
One of the things you eventually can do is add perks to the weapons.
And those different reagents come from the different gathering skills. So expert
I wasted $39.95, didn't I?
Of these rare resources that craftsmen need to craft these
I may as well
special
set it on
perks
fire,
onto
at least
their...
give it
But Jazz, while you're playing, you can get resources. Did you know about the resources?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the word resources?
Yes.
I believe that this MMO has actually created a new word just for this.
This is called
Kishmas in the chat says, wow, this is just like World of Warcraft. No, Kishmas. This is nothing like World of Warcraft. I can guarantee you this is going to be absolutely nothing like World of Warcraft on a multitude of levels. One of those is going to be player base.
Yeah, I seriously just should have set my $35 on fire.
But hold on, Jazz.
There's more!
These bonuses can range from increased damage, reduced weight, or even imbuing the weapon with elemental power.
There are several ingredients that you can use that sort of push the direction of like
every
what perks
MMO
you're going to
ever.
roll.
Later on, perks are going to be things like the sword deals extra fire damage and actually is emitting fire as you wield it.
Oh wow, it actually
Weapons
emits
can also
fire.
have gem slots, and you can take gems that you find out in the world and slot them into the weapon to add even more additional effects.
Crafting weapons and armor gives you an outlet to where if I'm not finding drops, but I do discover a recipe, I can try to craft items that really suit my playstyle and are very unique.
Between perks, gems, and the crafting.
So.
Yeah.
Now, it's really easy to do this because a lot of these dev diaries are basically corporate bullshit. So I'm going to go and give them the benefit of the doubt that this is a corporate bullshit video. Because
of course, because corporates never played a video game in their life.
No, never.
No.
So this is all amazing technology to them.
Right. Did you know that people connect to the interwebs and talk to people in the Chinas? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be an old guy. In the Orient? Right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I used the wrong word.
You
right?
got that quite wrong there. They don't use that one.
The Orientals? Is that... It's the same place I get my Chinese food from.
That's a hell of a DoorDash.
That is a hell of a DoorDash. Which, speaking of, DoorDash is fucking garbage. I feel bad for our neighbor because we've gotten their food like 3 separate times. I actually chased the guy out. I saw it on video. I chased him down the driveway. He's like, "This isn't mine!" And he looked so pissed off that I caught him.
Yeah, we had... A while ago, our food ended up at a neighbor's house, I assume, because it certainly didn't end up at ours.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly, our neighbor, Nicole, she knows what our front door looks like in both Amazon pictures and DoorDash pictures. And we know what her front door looks like through Amazon, because they're really bad. But, yeah, so the New World delayed. I don't know why. I mean, they have all these core systems.
They haven't let any reason why. Just all of a sudden, like, we're coming out in August, and then see you in 2021 in May.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's a big jump. I could see, like...
It's only almost
January,
9 months.
but...
It's only 9 months? What is it, 9 months? 9
yeah.
months. Yeah.
How could you be advertising everywhere that the game is releasing in a month? And that there's this and this and this is going on, and we're doing this and this, and there's not been a mention of any problems or delays or anything. And then 3 weeks before release, we'll see you in May of 2021.
And yes,
really?
This did sound like a familiar MMO we all play, but at least they didn't release a dev diary acting like it was the newest, greatest thing since, I don't know, beer was invented. Let's see here. This is from Richard Lawrence, studio director. I have not heard Richard Lawrence, but I assume he speaks with a British accent. With our August 25th release launch approaching, we have been scrutinizing our feature list, which, so did we. Richard, it's not that long. It's only 5 things that every MMO has done since 1999. Taking input from our alpha audience and listening to what they've enjoyed, or didn't, cheeky little bastard, about the current game. We're incredibly grateful to all of the support and suggestion of our alpha players, ranging from folks who spent thousands of hours in the New World to those who just sampled it. It's all valuable.
Yeah.
Seems like to me it'd be actually a lot more valuable if they'd spent thousands of hours in it. Which, by the way, that takes a long time to put thousands of hours into an MMO, especially when it's in an alpha. That seems like a bit of a stretch.
Jeez, yeah, that's...
I think in
the first
all our
clue
time
was
playing EQ2...
they didn't mention they were in alpha when they said they were releasing in a month.
Yeah.
Now that they've said they're not opening up until May, they're talking about alphas, and I'm like, well, of course you're in alpha.
Yeah, and then it goes into Proud. We're doing stuff. It's a bunch of basically it's this at this point in the porn, it's the guy that fluffs the guy's dick to make it hard again, and then it gets to, as a result, we will be changing our launch date and correspondingly our final beta phase to spring of 2021. We don't make this decision lightly because Amazon just fired a guy from Twitch for doing basically nothing, and it saved him $25 million, and now all of a sudden we have an extra $25 million in the budget. I'm making that part up. But I wouldn't be surprised.
It's probably accurate.
I put that together that, Twitch owns Amazon, or Amazon is owned by, or Twitch owns Amazon. Wait, Amazon owns Twitch.
Amazon owns Twitch. There we go.
I speak goodly.
I was gonna say, are you having a stroke? Like, do I need to call someone?
It's the British accent that's getting me. We're passionate about the game we've been making and want to add more features. Well, I don't know.
Try adding features that aren't like every single other MMO ever.
Yeah, they're better. I will say there's going to be one feature. Watch this feature not be in there. The one where you can make yourself look however you want despite what armor you're wearing. Like the what do they call that? Costumes and stuff like that.
Costumes, wow.
I bet you that's not going to be in there when it comes live.
Oh, I'll bet you it won't be either.
I'm going to put $5 on the table right now that's not going to be in there.
I think that's a safe fucking bet.
As a thank you to our community, we'll be providing a special opportunity for our beta sign-up and pre-order customers. That's you, Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-order customers,
yeah.
It's you.
Yeah, he's talking directly to me right now because he knows I'm about ready to firebomb the place.
Yeah, there's
no idea how tired I am.
There's a new app for that, actually. You can do one review badly. We will send an email directly to those customers detailing the process to participate. We're convinced that you'll feel the game has as much promise as we do and will understand why we want to take extra time to make this experience the best it can be at release.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing the same bullshit that I heard with EQ Next before they canceled.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That is a very good point, actually, now that you say that.
That is a very good point.
That's the exact same thing they said about EQ Next a month before they canceled the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, Jess. I really don't. I mean,
I better get my money back. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, at least with yours, this was a pre-order for you, so they would have to give the money back.
Well, actually, I'm not sure they actually even withdrew it yet. I'd have to go check.
Right.
But it's waiting for something before it went through, I think. But that's why I was pretty happy. I was pissed because they didn't take my money out right away. And I was like, why haven't they withdrawn the money yet? Well, now I know.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that just yet. Because we're just going to be giving out a lot of it back. Because I'm sure there were a lot of people that did exactly what you did. Oh, it's coming out in a month. Yep, canceling that. Not doing that right now. We'll wait and see. Because yeah, I want a new MMO to be good. I like MMOs. They're fun. They're a really good experience. You get a lot of bang for your buck. But god damn, have they been in a dry spell?
Now I do think it says here that I paid for it. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, the fact that they haven't. I mean, I guess a lot. No, let's see. We're a little over a month out from the 25th of August when it would have been coming out. So I guess there was enough time to still do a beta. But man, that would not have been a long beta. They'd have been, 3 weeks or so of beta, probably. Jazz tries to see if she's been scammed already by
yeah,
Amazon.
I'm looking to see if I've been scammed. Not yet. Well, it says they've set up, and it says sold by, and it has the amount, but I don't see. It has an order number and everything, so I think the money did come out for it. Yeah, they're going to be paying me my money back, bastards.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Jazz.
Damn it.
So yeah, but I mean, it does have those 5 pillars of gaming that has never been done before. So we have that to look forward to if it comes out. I'm just.
It did sound interesting, and the fact that it's only going to have humans was minorly interesting because I get tired of elves.
Right.
So,
elves, fairies, and Eskimos. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to that. So.
Well, I don't know that that's going to matter because people out there are going to be like, oh well,
I'm a secret. Yeah, vampire. I'm a werewolf. Yeah,
fairy.
It's all gonna. You can't get away from the idiots that do that stuff. They don't even bother with lore, and that's actually been part of my problem lately. Is the lack of care. Not even so much paying attention to, just the complete lack of care about lore in general. Just sends me over the deep end. I really have a problem with that. Okay.
I just like to listen to Jazz Meltdown live on the show.
Just pisses me
so
off.
I could just see little synapses firing. Oh, and okay, so we're about to end the show, but I do want to hit one thing real quick. From Box Office Mojo, I thought this was kind of fascinating. Given most movie theaters aren't open, but for the weekend of July 10th to July 12th, the number one movie at $611,000, The Empire Strikes Back.
That's funny.
At $3,670,000, Black Panther, then Inside Out, Jurassic Park, The Goonies. They're basically just it's actually kind of smart. They're just re-releasing shit they've already got on standby. That way, if it doesn't make any money, like if they release the new James Bond and nobody went and saw it, they lose a shit ton of money. But you re-release something you've already had in the bag for, 5, 10, 40 years in the case of Empire, practically.
Yeah, it's like they're padding their own pockets that way because it's already paid for.
And people are going, apparently. I mean, I didn't even know that. I don't know if around here, Gremlins was number 9. Yeah, get them, Gremlins. Tied with Jaws at number 8. Palm Springs, which, okay, that's a new company I have seen pop up. There's some company called Neon. I've just this last 2 weeks seen multiple things pop up from them, and I've never heard of them before. I wonder if they're popping up like, was it Lionsgate? Remember when you first saw Lionsgate, it's something like the Blair Witch Project, and you're like, what the fuck is a Lionsgate? And now they're everywhere, or Blumhouse before horror movies and the Conjuring series and all that stuff. They made a shit ton of money by giving somebody like, here's $1 million, and it makes like $40-50 million in return. So I wonder if that Neon's one of those new companies. There's another one. They have The Relic, The Lodge. None of these movies I've heard of course, but I've also not been paying a lot of attention to movies because I'm not going to a movie theater. But yeah, I mean,
please let me go sit in an enclosed space with a lot of idiots who can't be bothered to wear a mask. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, how am I supposed to eat my popcorn? Legitimate question. I like popcorn. I want popcorn. If I go to the movie theater, I'm having popcorn. Yeah, I eat popcorn. Popcorn.
Yeah, I'm gonna have popcorn that somebody probably sneezed on. No, thank you. I'll just wait till it comes out and watch it on my screen.
That's because you probably talked to them. They're like, "Oh, this bitch." Oh no! Oh, that was an accident. No, I'm not. I hope we can get stuff back to normal, but honestly, I'm starting to look at winter like 007 in November, huh?
Our governor. Ugh, I hate that I'm saying our governor has COVID and still won't wear a mask.
Yeah,
I know.
At least he's at home infecting his family.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't wear a mask at home.
And he's doubling down on the I'm not going to mandate masks.
Yeah. Well, honestly, on that one, I'm okay with that because it should be done at more like the Tulsa mayor, though. They've
but they're contradicting the mayors and telling the mayors they can't. And here in Iowa, they were told you can't do that. The governor's like, you can't do that. No.
I think he may have blocked me on Twitter because I sent him a tweet that said,
"Who?
Huh?
What? I missed
the governor.
Oh,
Oklahoma. I sent him a tweet and I said, I'm really just curious. What did you think was going to happen? Because I mean, like, I want to know. My capacity for stupid lately is rock bottom. I cannot handle the stupid anymore.
Okay.
And it just keeps getting worse.
All right. So for anybody that doesn't like politics, you end this show right here, because although this is more of a curiosity debate, because like I'm of the belief that the closer you are to your community, the better. You know, they like the governor of Broken Arrow knows what's going on in Broken Arrow better than the people over the county, better than the people over the state, better than the people in Washington D.C. You know,
right?
So. They really, the governor in your state told the local mayors that they can't do that stuff.
And the school systems that they don't get to make that choice.
Huh.
About masks, about if they're going to open or not. Iowa is currently bright red. It's one of the danger zones. And we're still opening up in 2 weeks. Or actually a week.
Yeah, see, and that was one of the things.
No, 2 weeks.
Early on with this, everyone was telling Trump, "You need to do something about this," and he's like, "No, you guys, you governors of your state, you do what you need to do, or don't do what you need to do." And that was, and some of them obviously.
But then he told them that then he made that announcement that they have to open, and then all the governors.
Right, and that was where, and that was where I think they, it's like I said, the closer you are to local government, I think the better off things are. I don't want the mayor of Tulsa telling us over here at Broken Arrow, who has we're not doing that bad, even though we're right next door to it. It's kind of like crime. Tulsa is one of the highest, has a pretty good crime rate. Broken Arrow, like the top 20 least in the country. We're right next to each other.
Judging by the gunshots we hear frequently during the week.
Well, you were near the riots that they had over there, so
that's true. Well, they were peaceful though until the cops showed up,
they were peaceful until the cops showed up, and then some idiot showed up. It wasn't even the protesters.
Yeah, then some idiots showed up.
The protesters here in Oklahoma, we actually had some of the rioting too, when the protesters did. But the protesters and the cops were getting along fine, and then apparently some dickhead in a car pulled up, got out, and threw something through the AutoZone window. He started trouble, and then he drove off and left. Yeah. And then, of course, that's all it takes is one, spark to light a fire, and everyone went ballistic from there, like a bunch of idiots. And that was very unfortunate. But that's one person that had nothing to do. That person wasn't even part of the protests. They were just there to cause trouble. And it's sad.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been totally peaceful.
Yeah.
Like they were literally just holding signs, singing and walking up the street.
walking around. Yeah, they're walking up and down one of our main streets. Fine, whatever. But yeah, that's unfortunate. And yeah, the whole COVID thing, you know what? At this point, I'm just
tired
with the Astro. I think we all are. I think that's what it is.
I'm just exhausted.
We're all tired.
And now, I'm going to have to, go back to work full time here shortly. And
I can't imagine what that'll be like.
That terrifies
I've already
me.
been doing that.
Yeah, you've already been doing that, but I have been able to go part-time and, take a step back and be more careful, and I'm not going to be able to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, like with our post office now, we're not required to wear the masks. I mean, partly because I'm outside. The only people that come up to me are people that, come up to me. And I have people that will still come and get the mail and be like, some of them don't, they're like, they don't know if they're allowed to. And I'm like, if you want to get the mail, I can hand it to you, or I'll put it in your box. Preferably, you'd stay in your house and I just put it in the box so we wouldn't have this conversation and delay me out in this 100-degree heat for another 5 seconds. Thanks. But that's just me. I already hate
There's a guy in Tulsa right now. I saw this on the news this morning. He's trying to sue the government because of the pending mask mandates, which haven't gone through yet. But
no, actually, they're in place right now. They're actually required as of Thursday at 9:00. Yeah, they have no teeth at all, but
But yeah, so it's like, okay, so you're gonna waste all this time, all this money, when instead you could just put your damn mask on.
Well, and by the time it probably goes, I mean, we all know how fast. No, Yunfei, the court system is lightning fast. By the time it gets through, the mask mandate will be over for 2 years.
Right? It's like just put your damn mask on. It's not hard. It's uncomfortable and it's annoying, sure, but you're not
totally get
your
that.
rights
Totally
aren't being
agree.
Violated.
Yeah.
Just put your damn mask on.
No, hey. My mask touched me. It was inappropriately touched me. I opened my mouth. It went inside against my will. Okay, so I was breathing in at the time and yawning, but I felt violated.
I love the Karens that are like, I have a health condition.
I like the
can't
one.
Wear a mask.
You know what? I was actually talking with Ben when I was taking him, and I had the conversation of the other. There's Karens on both sides. The ones that will stop somebody and shout at them for not wearing a mask. Which, by the way, when you're yelling at somebody for not wearing a mask, you're making it a lot worse than if you just walked by them. Because there's a lot more spittle involved in talking and yelling at a person and stopping them and looking them in the face than if you just, kept breathing through your nose, or in the case of some people that are doing this on both sides, your mouth, because they're mouth breathers. But it's just, don't stop and yell at somebody for doing something you don't like. And also, people, if somebody comes up to you and says you need a mask and you disagree with them, don't pull a gun. What the hell is wrong with you? And and if you go up to somebody and tell them to put a mask on, they tell you to fuck off. Don't pull a gun on them. What the hell?
That boggles me about Oklahoma. Like, I get it.
Oh, no,
tensions are high.
This has happened here, but it's happened. I've seen reports.
No,
it's
happened all over the place.
What was it in Europe? Somebody beat the shit out of somebody else for it. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea.
Oh my god!
Because spittle's not enough. Let's put blood and other fluids into the mix by physically assaulting a person. That's just you know what? Is this okay? So this might be a long episode because we never actually. I forgot. If you guys are okay with it, I didn't get into the. Oh, there's my dog barking. Somebody's home.
Oh.
Didn't get into what we thought of The Last of Us Part 2. So I think we should do that. What do you guys think? Because this kind of goes into politics with my view on it. So
Ben,
all right.
When we finished watching it, real quick, Ben and I had a pretty long, like, in-depth talk about it.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
It devastated me for several days afterwards. It took me a long time to absorb the whole story. So if you've not played The Last of Us Part 2 yet, definitely end the show here if you still kept on after we talked a little politics, because there will be spoilers. You can't talk. It's damn near impossible to talk about this game in any way, shape, or form without spoiling it, because you absolutely have to. So if you haven't seen it yet, thanks for joining us. Get lost, because you're about to have the game spoiled for you starting about now. So I loved it. I loved it as much as I loved the first one in totally different ways. Obviously, the bold move of killing off Joel, like, almost right off the bat, was pretty ballsy, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I think that was, I know that was leaked in the spoilers, as well as, Abby and all that stuff. But I don't know where this reverence for Joel came from. I mean, I love him as a character, but he's not the good guy in this game at all. In the first one?
No, he's not. He's not the good guy in the first game either.
No, and Jazz, I know you know some of it, but in the very first game of The Last of Us, Joel is a smuggler. He takes this little girl, Ellie, who's immune, the only person so far in the entire world they've ever heard of that's immune to the spores that make these zombies. And they fight their way across the entire country. He lost it, like the very first scene in the first game. He loses his daughter when things start to go to shit. Soldier gets the order just to shoot them, and he shoots the daughter before Joel shoots him, and so he loses his daughter. Then it jumps forward 20 years or so, and he ends up having to smuggle Ellie, who's about was she 14?
I think she's like 13 or
13 or so, in the first one. And of course he doesn't want to do it, so it's this whole father-daughter dynamic. They don't really like each other at first, and they cross the country, and they slowly open up as they save each other. But he gets to the very end, and where they are going to use her to make a vaccine that will literally save the entire world, because you walk through these spores and it basically just turns you into, it's those spores that, like, you see control ants and the fungus makes them go to the top of a tree, and then it will release the spores. It's basically like that, but for humans.
Right.
And so he gets there to the hospital, and he finds out that the only way that they're going to be able to make this cure is if they kill her, because they have to get to whatever causes this is in the center of her brain, and there's no way they can do it and have her live. And he finds out, and he kills them all. He kills the only remaining doctor that could do something like this. He kills all the people on the way out. And then the very last thing is he tells her that there were dozens of other immune people and that there was just nothing they could do. And she's like, I just need to know. Tell me honestly. Was there anything that could be done? Because for her, she's lost people in this. She's killed people, all of it, so that her life would have meaning to do this. And the very last thing he says is, yeah, it's exactly like I said. He lies to her.
Yeah.
After condemning the world, basically, just to save her, which is I can kind of understand that too. But on top of that he lies to her. So he's not a good guy. He's not a great character. I mean, he's a great character, but he's not a good person necessarily. So they kill him right off the bat in this one, practically, from a girl named Abby, who we find out later in the game is the daughter of the doctor he shot in the face from the end of the first one, which I thought was kind of a bold move. But I think aside from that, of course, that's where people sent. We didn't talk about it last time because I didn't want to spoil it, but the voice actress that got the death threat, she's like, how dare you kill fucking Joel and stuff like that. It's like, well, she didn't do it. She's just a voice actor, you dumbass. Oh, look at that. You got a chair. So, we got a high seat for our grandson. It just, I don't understand that. And then when you go through this whole revenge plot, because Joel gets killed right in front of Ellie, and they've not been talking to, because we find out as the game goes on that Ellie found out that Joel was in fact lying to her, and it's been 4 years since that time in the previous one. She's about 18 now, and they've not been talking. They've slowly been building it up, and then Abby comes in out of nowhere and kills him, and without any context, she seems like the bad guy. Well, as you go and try to find her as a revenge, because Ellie tries to kill Abby, you end up switching, playing Abby partway through. This whole game kind of happens over a course of like 4 days in Seattle, first from the perspective of Ellie, and then from the perspective of Abby. And it seems to me people absolutely hated playing Abby. They didn't want to empathize with her. They refused to empathize with her.
I liked that. I really liked that. They did the whole walk a mile in this person's shoes.
Yeah. And why, and so while we know why Abby, Ellie this whole time is trying to get revenge for Joel, we learn why Abby did it to begin with. The fact that her father was killed, that she spent all this time looking for this guy that killed her dad and basically destroyed the world.
I was going to say it was more than that.
Yeah.
It was, yes, he murdered her father, but he also doomed humanity.
Yeah, and he in her eyes, he doesn't get to walk around after what he did. Yeah. And it's not I understood that. I felt for her. And what's funny is I liked Abby as much as I liked Ellie. I actually think
me too.
Had situations been different, I think those two characters would. I mean, you could have made a whole different game where they were in the Joel and Ellie role, where they, Abby was the big buff protector of Ellie, and Ellie, was the tiny stealthy protector of Abby. They probably would have been really good friends. They had a lot of similar, ups and downs, and sarcastic, and just living in this horrible world that's died. But I really think it's kind of like with the politics, like what we were talking. People don't want to know what other people think. They don't want to get in the mind of somebody else that they disagree with, that they don't like. No. And I think that set people off that, wait a minute, so halfway through this, I have to play as the person I've been trying to hunt and kill this entire time. And of course, right before it switched over, she also shot somebody else because she caught up with them. Shot Joel's brother, although didn't kill him, that we don't find out till later. And what was the other guy's name? Jesse? Was that Jesse?
Yeah.
The Asian guy? Yeah. He was like the best person in the entire. Well, Dina wasn't too bad actually, although she was a bit of an idiot. I'm pregnant. Let's go traipsing across the country to Seattle. Oh, who would have thought? Morning sickness. That didn't end up well.
Yep.
Moron. But, and I don't know. I absolutely loved it, and I loved getting to play. The differences is kind of like the first one when they was switched from Joel to Ellie and then back. But it comes off as a revenge plot, but in a lot of ways, I mean, I saw it as kind of a different thing. At first, it seemed like a revenge thing, but it really ended up being about forgiveness, for letting things go, and what happens when you can't, when you just let that anger and you can't forgive somebody for what they've done. Because on both of them, Abby wouldn't have been there for Joel, and Ellie wouldn't have traveled across the country to try to, and there was a group of people with Abby that came with her to try to find this guy, to find Joel and kill him. And as you progress the story with Ellie, you end up killing all of them, one of which is pregnant. And she had a big
dog.
And the dog. And yes, and
Alice.
and the dog. But
oh my god, I was so upset.
Yeah, and then later on, halfway through, after you've just killed that dog, you end up playing and playing. You get to play fetch with the dog when you're on Abby, when you play through as her. But yeah, when Ellie realized she just shot a pregnant girl, of course, she just realized her girlfriend Dina's pregnant. Not obviously through her, but their previous boyfriend. It messes her up because the lady had one of those big fluffy coats on, and didn't know it until she turned her over, and naturally she threw up. It was upset her a lot, but just the storytelling, I think the best review I've seen of it was probably the girlfriend's review, where they were saying that there's two separate things. There's plot, and then there's story. And the whole, the plot of the first game was there's zombies, try to find a cure. The plot of this game was, revenge and understanding other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
But the story was so much better.
Ben mentioned that too, that the first game was very much like it's us versus the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And the second game was it's us versus us.
Yeah. Yeah. The humanity's always, as it is in most things, it's always the worst of everything. Yeah, sure, the clickers and stuff like that, and mushroom zombies. But outside of a couple of them, they're really not the dangerous ones. Then you find, when you find that other faction of the Scars, and they're whistling that first time you catch them, they're fucking terrifying. And they've got their longbows and things like that. It is a brilliantly done game. I understand why people don't like it. I do kind of get that, but at the same time, anybody that can't empathize with like someone like Abby and understand where she was even coming from, I don't know. It seems like there's something broken in you that you can't, because you've already seen it through someone's eyes. It's impossible for you to even reconcile that somebody else could have actually been justified in what they did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I loved it. Everything, obviously, it's beautiful. Everything about it looks fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean,
and there were some scenes that were like when he is walking over the bridges that they made from building to building.
Yes, the crane.
And she's afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
They did a fantastic, cinematically, they did a wonderful job portraying a fear of heights. I'm not afraid of heights, and I was terrified.
Yeah, because you felt it through her. Yeah, because that was one of the big things. Even though the big buff girl Jazz, she's terrified of heights. And there's a scene where they have to go through.
Everybody has their phobia, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and it was just kind of it humanized her in a lot of ways, but so did the sarcasm and her going against realizing in her whole story arc too, with these scars that Ellie bumps into, but where up in Seattle where they're a real problem. They're basically a religious cult that they themselves created by killing off the leader of it and making her into a martyr.
I think that was probably the one thing that both Ben and I kind of had not really a problem with, but
it was a little on the weak sauce side.
Yeah, we were expecting to find out more about them, and they just never delivered.
Yeah, I will give. I mean, like I said, I think it's a fantastic game. It's not a perfect game. I mean, nothing's ever perfect. It's impossible. You can't do it. I do agree with the 10 out of 10s. Just out of you take the whole bundle into it, but yeah, you kind of start to see her, and then you find out later that she's dead, and that the leader of the Seattle people that Abby was with, he was the one that basically caught her, tortured her, and then killed her, and she turned her into a martyr, which made the Scars kind of like all religions, because she actually was a person of peace, and then once she was gone, they're like, let's be violent in her name, you know?
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it's such a fantastic game, and the level of detail, the fact that every weapon upgrade you do has its own animation, and I've seen people ridicule this, like, you don't need to do that level of detail. Yeah, but they did. So, and going on time crunch and things like that, which I want to get into sometime, but not right now. It's just, it was such a good game. And I know it's just a little meandering off the cuff. I didn't actually write it down like I meant to because I wanted a nap.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if you felt similarly, but I really felt that the game should have ended a little earlier than it did. Like after she kills the pregnant girl, Mel, has my name, so obviously I remember her name.
Oh yeah, that's right. You died. I'm sorry.
And Ellie froze up and realizes, oh my God, this is horrible. I was really hoping that would be the point when Ellie would click for her that, hey, this is not okay.
Yeah.
This revenge that I'm going on, all it's doing is just perpetuating the cycle of violence.
Yeah.
And they got up and they left and they went home basically. And I really thought that the game was going to end there. And I thought, oh, well, that's, what a good ending. It's showing that
she finally let go, let Abby live.
Finally let go and this and that. And then the game kept going. And I was confused after that.
There were there was some stuff I thought, they could have tightened up a little bit. But almost everything that was left in went to the story. But yeah, there was the point after you've played through Ellie and Abby and they have their confrontation and Abby's about to kill Dina.
And then stops.
She, the little Scar kid that Abby's with is like, no, and actually stops her. And Abby just says, I never want to see you again. And Ellie gets her girlfriend, her pregnant girlfriend. And then it goes it goes to that scene on the farm, like you were saying, which, by the way, fucking beautiful.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And you actually play through. It's been several months. Obviously, it's actually had to been probably at least a year because as big as that kid was. And so they've got the little baby boy. They're doing the farm thing. They're living their lives. They have a good life. And then Joel's brother Tommy comes back and he's found Abby apparently down in California with her and was it Lee? Is that the little kid's name? Lynn? I forget his name now. Little Scar kid that was with him. But they were looking for
like Levy or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, Lev. That was it. Lev. Yeah. They go down to California because they're trying to find whatever's remaining of the Fireflies, and of course Joel gets wind of that, and that's when you just he's all gimped up because he got shot, so he can't do it, but he brings it to Ellie, and it did seem a little.
It felt really forced.
It did feel a little forced, and and then when she ends up, she leaves Dina, she leaves the baby, she goes down there, and I think that might be. I don't know. It just I liked it, but at the same time, I could see why it did feel like it was kind of dragging on, because I think part of that is that they made it feel like the game was ending, and of course, it's like when we watch a movie, I forget what movie there was, it felt like it ended 4 separate times, and after that, even though it was only like an hour and 50 minutes, it felt like it drug on because it felt like it had 4 different endings.
Yeah, but it felt like an ending, but it also felt like an ending with a payoff.
Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, I watching and everyone's happy. I was like, this is a Naughty Dog game. There's no way it ends like this. And then Tommy shows up.
Yeah, and like when you get to the actual ending, I was really disappointed. Isn't the word? I was confused because that ending to me did not have a payoff.
Yeah,
and I was like, why would they do that?
I think it was more based, but
players?
More based in reality though, because she couldn't let the fact that when she let Abby go or Abby let her go, she didn't have a choice. It wasn't really a choice for her. It was that, or she watches her girlfriend get her throat cut and the baby killed, and then she'll die too. So I mean, it was like that. She just couldn't let it go, and I thought they did a fairly good job of portraying that. I think maybe it could have been done a little better. If in the happy times when you're playing with the baby, like I know they had the flashbacks and stuff like that helped, but I think it needed something more.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
PTSD. But, and I liked the part when you were in California and you were fighting off those new guys, especially like the guy that's like, you're looking for a girl named Abby. She's got big old arms like me, and he's a big biker dude. I know her. Also, when the rope trap with the clicker in it, when the guy is messing with Ellie's hand, trying to get it close to her mouth, and she just lunges into it and gets him bit. That was fucking
That was a
feral.
cool scene.
That was feral.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had a lot of beautiful moments, but yeah, the ending, it did it meandered a little bit, but in their last sort of fight where it felt like that, I don't know, I liked it. I actually liked that it finally, for both of them, it finally clicked. That this is, look where we're at. Look where Abby's been, who knows what she's been through the last several months with a bunch of burly men all over, even though she's a big gal. She's captive, whatever Lev's been through.
Yeah, she's a big girl, but
yeah,
I think it's a little, her looks are a little deceptive because
she's still a woman.
To me, she was still a very sensitive.
She was, yeah.
Feminine woman, even though she was fucking stacked.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I agree with that. It was just, I don't know, I liked it. That's
Ellie was more manly than
a lot more visceral too.
Yeah.
But I think that's what made me realize it wasn't really a revenge plot so much as it was a plot of forgiveness. It was how hard it is to forgive somebody for something. Revenge is easy. I mean, it really is. Forgiveness is that's hard. It's hard. I have a hard time forgiving people for things.
Me too.
It's a lot easier for me to snipe at them and be snippy than it is to be like, I can let that go.
Okay. I think I get it. I think I get what it was that didn't sit well with me. Forgiveness isn't about forgiving the other person. It's about forgiving the other person for yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not about the other person. It's about
being
you.
able to let go on your own terms. Yeah. And forgive them so that you can move on with your life.
Because the other person, they don't give a shit whether you forgive them or not.
Usually.
Usually. I speak, from my own experience, and he didn't give a crap that if I forgived him or not, but
right.
It's more for you and your own mental health and your own well-being, and I feel like
to move on with your life.
Didn't get that.
Yeah, and by the time she did, when the very last scene, after having that happy time at the farm, when she gets back to the farm, Dina and the baby, all the pictures are gone, all the stuff is gone. The farm is vacant. She had to move on. They left all of Ellie's stuff there, and she's got nothing at the very end of it. There's nothing left for her. She let all her hatred and vengeance take everything from her, and when she didn't have to, if she had just let it go when Tommy had come with that, given it would have really sucked for Abby. She didn't end up rescuing Abby. Abby probably would have been, killed and raped to death. But yeah, that wouldn't have been great. But at least Ellie would have moved on with her life and not lost everything. And that's exactly what. And she did that on her own. She was her own worst villain when it came to the end because she couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with her. And it's like you said with the forgiveness, her own guilt. She stopped talking to Joel because she found out he lied to her, which is justified. But then when they're gone, you realize there was no point to that. He did what he did for her, and yeah, it was awful, but you can't undo it. And not talking to him and then losing him and never being able to talk to him again, she couldn't forgive herself for that, and that all went to Abby, and it just never till they had each other at each other's throats. They couldn't undo it.
I thought that I didn't think that they were going to be Suki. I didn't think that they were going to become friends or anything.
No.
But after Abby shot Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellie, she'd thrown her weapon aside and she held her hands up and she said, "I know why Joel did it." I thought at that point, I was like, oh, awesome. They're going to have a conversation and we're going to see, what comes from that. And no, they just started friggin' shooting each other again. And I'm like, really?
Women, right? They're just so aggressive and angry.
Like friggin' A. Especially since Ellie knew that Joel had done something so abhorrent,
Yeah. Yeah, he condemned the world, basically. Yeah. So, I guess that's kind of our meandering review on it. It's a little off the cuff and a little raw, but yeah, it was. I actually want to play through the first one and then play through the second one again, like almost back to back. I mean, that's a lot of gaming.
That's with just the cutscenes and conversation and stuff. Oh man, that'd be 19 hours.
Yeah, I'd probably crank it down to. I played both of them on moderate, on regular mode. I'd probably crank it down to easy and then also turn on things like the automatic grab stuff so you could get through stuff faster.
Yeah.
But I absolutely, it's hands down, and they're Naughty Dog. They're just one of my favorite developers between Last of Us and Uncharted. They're absolutely fantastic. So that's that. I think we'll just stop there because it's been 2 hours almost now, and it's not supposed to be a 2-hour show, but it was. So, that's what happens when we don't have Strafay here to just gum it all up, really.
Keep us in line.
So, what'd you think, Jazz? Did you like our review?
Yeah, I think so.
She's like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but sure, why
not? Nope, no idea. I mean, but that's awesome.
Yeah, well, you have to have Jay. I know Jay played through it. You'll have to have. I have to have.
I'm sure
him
he'll
here.
talk to me about it. Yeah,
and try to explain.
Your
friends are idiots. It was the worst. I think he liked it a lot. I know he did. I don't know all about it, but so all right. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna turn on the outro. Man, I need a drink after that. Just reliving that stuff is. I mean, I was wrecked for days after that. I was in a kind of just didn't know what to do.
It was heavy. It was a very heavy experience.
It was like losing a family member, but not like an immediate family member, but like a cousin you used to play with. It was that level of like, fuck, that's messed up. So, all right. Well, anyway. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Remember, twitch.tv/CrashWellLoading. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a review over on iTunes if you haven't. People that are on the show. Set an example for the rest of them.
I don't know. That just feels a little like masturbation.
But I want to thank everybody for showing up. Jazz, Yunfei. Short list. Thanks for showing up. Yeah. I, of course, am Ashton Phoenix. That's pretty much it. Go listen to something else. Last of Us podcast is pretty good. I'd highly recommend it. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his latest in video game covers and original music.